Hey, what's up everyone? In this video we're taking a look at these, the brand new Nike Vomero number 15. What's up and welcome back to FORDY Runs. Now, how are we all doing? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, tell me, do you have the old version of this, the Vomero? Now, do you have number 14, 13, 12, 2, whatever? Let me know in the comments. I'll be very interested to know and I'll check them out once this video's come out. Right, so the Vomero 15, it's been about 2 years in the making. It's finally out, but is it any good? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. So let's get stuck in. Right guys, so here it is, the Vomero 15. Let me know in the comments, do you think this looks better than version 14? I'd be very interested to know. This is the sort of plush version, let's call it, of the Pegasus series. It's more for those sort of easier days, those longer run days, and it sort of fits in the mould along like a Triumph 18 from Saucony or a Glycerine. That's the sort of area I find this shoe in. So it's perfect for those longer runs and all that sort of stuff where you just need to get out there and you want a shoe that's going to be your best friend while you're out there. And that's what they're trying to do here with the Vomero. They've reworked it totally. So let's get into some of the stats and the features. We'll start with the midsole because it's quite interesting what they've done. They've introduced Zoom X to this shoe. So you've got Zoom X core, you've got wrapped around that some SR02 which comes over from the Joyride, which is like a carrier foam which is more durable and it's there to protect the Zoom X. You've also now in this shoe down at the forefoot, very similar to the Pegasus, the 37 I'm talking about, you've got a Zoom Air unit which is twice as large as the previous versions, delivering a much more cushioned ride. You've got a noticeable heel counter, brand new mesh upper, a very durable outsole, I'll show you that in a sec. You've got these foam crash rails on the lateral side which acts as a cushioning device at contact for a smooth transition. It's got a 10mm drop, 130 pounds, and it's 11.1 ounces for a UK 9.5, so it's on the heavier side. Okay, where do we start? Right, let's talk about the compounds and stuff like that. I mentioned it a second ago. So you've got Zoom X, which is a noticeable addition to this shoe, which is a lot softer and a lot springier and bouncier than some of the other compounds. So it's like their premium compound, the Zoom X from Nike, in terms of energy return, all that sort of stuff. And they've added in the forefoot is larger pocket of air. So what you're doing if you're striking here is you're getting a nice bounce onto the Zoom unit and off you go. I mentioned the SR02, that's on there. I don't know if you can see that. So that's a more durable foam that carries over from the Joyride. The Joyride's the one with all the sort of balls and things in it. It's not particularly good running shoe, but it was a shoe that came out, was it this year, last year? I can't remember, but the foam that's in that has been carried over there just to protect the Zoom X, because the Zoom X does need a little help now and again. Here's the heel counter, which adds stability. That's a really firm heel counter, so it does add some good stability, particularly with the Zoom X in the heel area. So that's good news. You've got this padded, and I mentioned it a second ago, you've got this padded heel area. Feels very much like a Saucony Triumph shoe in terms of real estate. The tongue's a funny old thing. Look at the size of this tongue, look. It's massive. It reminds me of the Adidas SL20.2. It's got a massive tongue in it, but there's a bit of foam in there, so it's comfortable, but it is huge, and I would really recommend you put a runner's knot in this shoe to really lock that tongue down. Lacing is okay, it does the job. The mesh upper has been reworked. It's a little bit thicker than I was expecting, but this time of year is no problem. I'd be interested to see what these are like in the summer, whether they get too hot. You've got obviously the big Nike swoosh down there, little bits of overlay to add some structure. That's that thing what they called on the lateral side. What was it? Where's my notes? They got a foam crash rail on the lateral side. That's that. So what else do we got? That's about it actually. Oh, the outsole. So the outsole, check out the rubber on the outsole. High abrasion rubber. There is loads of it. Look, there is loads of it. But what I would say with this is enough make a racket when you're running along. It reminded me of the Tempo Next Percent. They've got this really thick rubber, and I'll play a bit. See what I mean? It's quite noisy, isn't it? You can really hear it sort of hitting the ground. All right, that was wet when I was filming that, so maybe that made it sound worse. But on the positive side, if you can put up with that, this is a very, very, what looks like durable outsole. So, you know, I've got to give them kudos for sticking so much rubber in there and making it, you know, that more durable and last that bit longer and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, good, well done Nike on that front. Interesting in terms of sizing, UK 9.5 for me, which I'm always in Nike running shoes, but actually it did feel a pinch bigger than I was expecting. No problems in terms of width, but it just felt a little bit longer than normal. And it's got noticeably bigger the more I've run in it, because obviously it does expand and all that sort of stuff the more you're running them. And it just feels, yeah, just a little bit, not too big, but I may have got away with the UK 9. So just bear that in mind. If you are looking at this shoe, it might be worth ordering both sizes to see which one you prefer. But yeah, so overall, size wise, just be careful on your sizing. Definitely the width is all right, and the rest of it I think makes sense. So how did it feel? Well, you know what, despite its weight, it was a comfortable, energized run. It works well through different paces. It felt easy on those easy runs, which is what you want, and I was able to pick it up in elements. I wouldn't say that I would want to hold this shoe for a high, a long time at high pace. If I could speak and get my words out, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I wouldn't want to hold this, you know, let's say for a fast 10K, but this is not what this shoe is, so I'm being a bit unfair to it. But, you know, I chucked a few elements of pace in some of the runs and it responded. I did notice the more I was sort of midfoot striking, the nicer it felt, the more bouncier it felt, which makes sense, you know, with the Zoom X down there. It is a noticeable springier ride than, let's say, a Pegasus. And I'll do a comparison video of the two, and that's got the React foam in it. I'm a big fan of the Zoom X, and it is a noticeable spring in your step. And yeah, the sort of, the easier I took it, the more bouncier it was. If I got a little bit on my toes, I lost a bit of that. And the Air Zoom units, yeah, okay, it was, I wouldn't say it was massively noticeable, but you know, there was a little bit of pop, but it wasn't a huge amount. But when I sat back and relaxed and sort of cruised along, I think this is where the shoe came into its own. So I think for anybody who's looking for a Nike shoe that's more sort of, well, actually no, let's stop. If I wouldn't buy the Nike Pegasus 37, I would probably go for this instead. If you're a Nike fan, personally, I think there are better shoes out there than this. Still, I would send you, you know, towards Saucony. I would send you towards the Hoka Clifton 7, for example. But if you are a Nike fan, then you know you're gonna like this to a degree. It is heavy, 11.1 ounces. I don't see why it's, you know, it needs to be that heavy. You can look at a Saucony Ride 13. Which, okay, this is more comparable to the Triumph, but the Saucony Ride 13 is like 8.6 ounces. This is 11.1 ounces. So, yeah, the upper's not the most breathable in the world. I do feel it's a little bit on the thick side. There's quite a lot of real estate around here, but it is designed to be a nice place to be while you're out there putting those longer miles in. So they've achieved that. I think they've achieved a good thing with the Zoom X and the AirPods, and as I said, I would sway you towards this over a Pegasus, but I just think at £130, I think, you know, you'd be better off looking at maybe like a Clifton 7 or a Saucony Triumph 18.